Hey everybody, welcome back to Northern Lion Plays the Binding of Isaac. AFTERBIRTH. Northern Lion is still sick, and he's so sick, in fact, he's talking in the third person. Again, I feel good, but my voice may betray that from time to time. Holy shit. 21HF LLRZ. We have Holy Grail, Godhead, and the Shovel. So, if you were watching these episodes and you're like, man, wow, that's a bad start, but I would really like to see NL fail. He's had too many strong runs recently. I'm sorry to inform you that it appears you will probably not get your wish here. Godhead, I don't think it's the best item in the game, but it's not too far away from the best item in the game, and certainly one of the best items you could conceivably start with on a run, considering you get homing shots combined with the ability to have a lot of damage associated with them. I think it gives you a little, you know, forgive me for not knowing exactly what Godhead does. So many tinted rocks, too. I mean, they suck so far, but still. Forgive me for not knowing exactly 100% what Godhead does, because it shows up about once every 15,000 runs. Unless your luck is as good as mine, in which case it shows up all the freaking time, apparently. But, I think the hitbox for Godhead, didn't hear a consumable drop there, stretches to the point where it actually has, a hitbox that is the entire kind of like illuminated area around it. I'm not sure though. That might be correct, it might be incorrect. Either way, we're going to kill Little Horn here. I think we did roll, and this is not complaining. Oh, I was born with these beautiful looks, and my parents are billionaires, but you know, my tier stat isn't that good. But really, without being too ridiculously unself-aware, wow, we can't even go to there's like a library there, but we can't go to it. Life goes on. We did kind of seem to roll bad on stats here. Don't tell Nick that I said that. Nick, I know you're watching. It's just a self-aware joke. Because we're not quite steamrolling as much as I would expect from Godhead. Even like Godhead plus nothing else, I would expect to be like a little stronger than this, but it's not that this is weak. Quite the opposite, really. And of course, I mean, I haven't even talked about the fact that we're starting with the ability to fly, which is disgustingly powerful, so... and the shovel is like an okay item in its own right. It can be fun if it gives us like a single black market. Infested, that's okay. Then I'm pretty pleased with it. And honestly, in a way, I think we're actually pretty lucky here that we started with Godhead. Not just because, of course we are, but because we haven't gotten any keys. And no keys means we can't go to our item room. So if you need, you know, an item that can carry you, despite the fact that we haven't had item rooms available to us yet, Godhead is definitely up there on the short list of items that can do that for you. Bombs, still, you know, potent, desirable. Calvin Klein. There we go. Torn Photo is really going to amp up our damage, and so are both of these, actually. And there might be a case to be made to maybe not take both. But Dark Matter we take for the DPS. Gimpy we take because there's so many items that work so well with this in the future. You know, Dark Bum in particular is the classic example. But if we can get a lot of HP and then play Blood Banks, etc., etc. You know, there's multiple different ways that we can make this happen. Multiple different ways we can make this happen. I am just a human like you guys, using the power of human speech. I don't know. Tapeworm is actually... Sometimes I find it more trouble than it's worth, but I think it's... Oh my god. Golden bombs? We might as well look for some money here. It's probably worth it right now. It's not like our range is bad. The number of golden chests is ridiculous so far. It's not like it's necessarily bad, but it causes like some weird interactions with shots sometimes. Like shots that seem like they would hit will sometimes miss as a result, and hopefully that doesn't happen to us here. I'm probably just going to buy a key. And then, you know what? I think we should let it ride. Let's go over here. Maybe it's being in Vegas recently. We go play that. There you go. You get 2 keys. What do we do with those? Well, unfortunately, we just head down to the next floor. But we rest easy knowing that was a winning decision. And if you look at the items on the right side of the screen via the item tracker right now, you'll probably understand how I feel about this run. We're in an absurdly good position considering how early it is. Every single item has basically been pretty good to really good to amazing. But we got some troll bombs, and that's unacceptable. Let's head down here. I'm going to take another sip of this coffee and pretend that I'm not hoarse. That's good coffee, man. I can get down with the cold brew. A viewer of ours, if you follow like a lot of the streams, you probably already know this, particularly if you follow Kate's stuff, but a viewer of ours by the name of Sushi Cat San sent us a cold brew coffee kit, which is basically just a plastic jug. And, you know what? Let's stick with the shovel here. It's basically a plastic jug and a glass, also jug. And you manipulate those to make cold brew coffee. It's very simple. You just brew it in the plastic jug and then let it run through a filter after like 12 to 24 hours into the glass jug, and then it stays in your fridge, as good cold brew concentrate that you mix with water to make cold brew coffee for, like 2 weeks. And it has actually changed my life. I drink a lot of coffee. If I'm being honest, probably more than I should. Wow, another deal with the devil. And the ability to just have it, like, on tap, basically, at all times, for, like, a 10-minute time investment once every 2 weeks or once a week has changed my productivity. It really has made me a more productive person. If you're watching the channel religiously and you're like, I love every single one of these video series that comes out right now, make sure to thank Sushi Cat San, because the coffee has helped out a lot with respect to that. It really is a societally acceptable performance-enhancing drug. We don't want that shovel, or the battery charge just yet. We got sin robes, aka ceremonial robes from our deal with the devil. If we can get back into the deal with the devil, wow, how did we dodge that? That was just, and how did we not dodge that? If we can get back into the deal with the devil with some more HP, there's some stuff that I would consider taking. And bursting sack, not particularly strong. Like, I'd like to get a leg up on the guppy dream, but unfortunately, you know, our HP is just too low to make that reliably good. Well, actually, like, literally right now, we would just die upon picking up the item. We might respawn, but if you think that's worth it, I got a bridge to sell you, which is a nonsensical statement, but you get the idea. I mean, I don't understand. Here's the problem with that statement, and we've talked about it on the NLSS before. It's just so unfathomably stupid to buy someone's bridge. Someone told me they had a bridge to sell me. You would have to be like Tom Arnold in the Stupids level of stupid to believe that. I just don't believe that it's a reliable way for people to live their lives. I can already feel the coughs coming. I'm gonna hold it down. We're 6 minutes and 41 seconds into the video. How much longer could it possibly go, right? Sometimes Kate tries to tell me that the cough is it's a learned trait, you know? We actually cough because you have to clear things from your throat. You just have to cough because you've learned that coughing is what you do when you get a little tickle in your throat, and it's all psychological. I don't know if that's the case, but I'm going to choose to believe that right now because I think it's a productive belief. Mind over matter. We can do this. David Blaine. David Blaine. I will say that for being a little bit under the weather, and I'm not ill, I'm just, you know, I'll talk a little bit more about this distinction because I actually want to. I don't feel bad. I just sound bad. It's the ultimate, like, first world thing to say. Am I the only person who actually sort of likes being sick? I mean, obviously, I would rather, especially when I'm working here and talking a lot, I'd rather sound good, and I'd rather, you know, feel better. But I always sort of like, when I was younger, if I could get a genuine sick day off of school, I was pretty stoked. It's a great excuse to stay home, play video games, you know, no one's gonna judge you, and you could just sit at home, bundle up with a blanket, watch movies or something like that. Now, obviously... Oh, that's been a pretty good secret room. Obviously, nobody wants to be sick, you know? But sometimes, for like 2 days, I sort of... I wouldn't say I prefer having a cold to not having a cold. But every once in a while, it can be a nice change of pace to have an excuse to just, you know, stay inside, not do as much work as you normally do. Maybe that's a troubling sign to begin with. We're continuing to get some amazing items here, though. But I think that I'm not making my case very well, but I think you can probably understand my case. You know, when I was a kid, I liked school. I was a kid who actually, like, enjoyed school. I don't, to the best of my knowledge, best of my memory, I never faked sick once in my life, which is something that sometimes people find hard to believe. It's not because I'm a particularly good person. Yeah, we'll take this. I just like school. But even liking school... I was still like, if I had a cold and could get 2 days off of school, I was like, this seems like fun. See what's on TV between the hours of 9 a.m. and, 3 p.m. when I'm normally away. Play some Crimson Skies High Road to Revenge on Xbox Live. It was a good time. Some of my best sick days ever. Might as well try that. I can't believe we haven't gotten a single black market yet. And the reason I say that's like the ultimate first world thing to say is like, imagine talking to somebody who has like an actual disease. I kind of like feeling sick, it's just novel. I feel so healthy all the time that it's just nice to see what the other side experiences for sometimes. Imagine like talking to someone starving. I kind of like, it's refreshing to feel hungry sometimes. I'm always just so full that to feel hungry is, it's a change of pace. I go on these hunger cleanses. I fast once a week just for my own enjoyment. Live your life however you want to live your life. I'm not judging you on that. I'll take the stopwatch just to make the Hush fight perhaps more viable. We'll hold 2 of diamonds for now. I don't know if this was the right place on the value curve to pop it. And as always, every Northern Lion statement must come with a little bit of self-deprecation, otherwise it's not genuine. I'll grab this. But yeah, I mean, after like a week of this, I'll be like, please. I thought that was 2 of, Balls of Steel again. After a week of this, I'll be like, enough's enough. I'd like to not have to sniffle my way through 6 hours of content a day. But I will be honest, first couple of days of being sick, I'm like, this is, I wouldn't say it's nice, but it's not that bad. Roid Rage is also not that bad, which is to say it's actually quite good as we head down to Depths 1. Depths 1 with Curse of the Unknown, but a ton of HP, so I'm not sweating it very much at all here. You may disagree. I was kind of like a goody two-shoes in school, I gotta admit. Not only did I never fake sick, that was self-ish to not fake sick, by the way. Because I was just concerned, I think, for the most part, that my parents would catch me, and then I'd be caught in a lie, and be humiliated and have to go to school anyway. But I also, and people find this hard to believe, I have never cheated on a scholastic test in my entire life. Well, that's not necessarily strictly true. Okay, I'll own up. In university, sometimes we would have take-home tests, and they weren't really tests, they were quizzes. We were encouraged to do them in groups so that we would all talk and discuss. And we would usually, one person would be nominated as the scapegoat. That person would do the test. We'd try to get them 100%, obviously. And they were open book. But whatever they, got wrong, we would note, and then everybody else in our dorm who was doing the test would get perfect scores on it. But I kind of feel that if you issue a take-home quiz and tell people to do them together, that you're basically expecting that to happen. So I'm going to choose not to count that. In public school and high school, I never once cheated on a test. I guess it felt wrong, It's the same thing, like, maybe a little bit more extreme, but I have never shoplifted, and to some people that's like a rite of passage to, like, be 15 and steal a candy bar, but for me, it's like cheating on a high school test and stealing, like, an apple out of a fruit market are basically like, we find the defendant guilty and sentence him to life in prison. I must have seen, like, some really, really good propaganda when I was a kid. Not that, shoplifting is good. But, don't take that out of context. Northern Lion, famed esports celebrity Northern Lion says shoplifting is good. No, I mean, shoplifting is bad. And don't even start with, they always go, hey, I think shoplifting's bad. Ooh, TechX. I think shoplifting's bad. Well, what if I'm a mother and I need to shoplift to feed my children? Okay, sure. Are you? Like, get that lady in here. I want to hear more of her story. She sounds like she's leading a life that is, interesting right now, and I'd love to learn more about the struggles that she faces on a regular basis. But no, you're actually like, you're in, a state school in California, all right? Congrats. You came up with the devil's advocate for no particular reason. Except to continue the fodder of conversation, which I appreciate. I guess we don't really need a tapeworm anymore. But, oh god, I almost missed the boss and possibly devil room as a result of that. Luckily, I guess just because of the speed at which we approached that trapdoor, we didn't get sucked inside of it. Either way, this is like our 4th really fast run in a row here. Pacifier is fine. And Little Brim, as long as we're paying red hearts for it, I think we can afford it as we head down to the next floor. And that's not to say I've never done anything illegal in my life. I'm trying to think of the statute of limitations here. See, that's how you know that I'm actually... I mean, you should never trust anybody who says they're a good person. That's how you know that I've been a relatively goody two-shoes for my whole life. Is that I'm like, well, have I done anything illegal? Well, technically, I've speeded a couple times when I really needed to get somewhere, but no, look, are you a cop? If you're a cop, you have to tell me. I drank underage for about 18 months straight. But apart from that, I'm trying to think, and I think I'm probably pretty good. You know, I've never driven drunk. That's not bragging, that's just, you know, called having a plan. I totally forgot we can get out of boss rush here. Illicit narcotics? Don't think so. Certainly, you know, no assault, no battery. I've led a pretty good, you know, a pretty just life, I think. When you ask Rob about what he's done that's illegal, he doesn't want to tell you. And that's... Oh, God. I will re-roll us once. I think that's... I'm not saying he's done bad things, but maybe things that he's a little embarrassed about, but... I don't think that he is embarrassed about it. I think that he'd actually... If you asked him, he would tell you, and he'd be like... Yeah, I did this thing that I probably shouldn't have done, but... You know, it's made me who I am today, and that's important. Okay, so we've donated as much as we can. I am gonna roll. It's a great run. You have to roll. You have to roll once. That's my rule with the D100. This seems terrible. We're so slow as well. But we do have Nod Leaf. Rest assured, I see. We have Strange Attractor. We should have left the room and then come back so we could have kept the shovel, but who cares, really? And I did totally fuck up 2 of diamonds as well. But justice is a complicated thing, man. Should justice be rehabilitative or punitive? Should you be getting your opinions about justice from somebody who plays video games badly for a living? You shouldn't be probably getting your opinions about justice from anybody who plays video games for a living. You should be you should watch like a guest lecture from a, you know, state Supreme Court justice or something like that. But it's stuff I think about, you know? Does doing something badly, or does doing something bad in the past make you a bad person? I would say no, you know? There's this anecdote. I mean, it's a fact as far as I know, but, you know, Mark Wahlberg is he's well-liked. You know, he seems like an affable guy. He's been in some great movies, and to be honest with you, it seems like he's a pretty okay dude. We'll take this. But I mean, I don't know him. We'll check Boss Rush and see if there's anything valuable enough in there to take. I mean, we have to try Midas Touch, right? Midas Touch plus Nod Leaf should make this pretty easy for us. If it actually does any damage at all to enemies. Which it does, which is good. We'll get, like, unlimited money here. But when he was younger, he was kind of like a street punk. Is that a word that people use outside of West Side Story? I don't know. But, there's a story, and it's quite violent, where he, like, blinded... Oh, we have Bumbo, too. Attacked and blinded, like, a Vietnamese shop owner or something. And it always comes up whenever he does, like, an AMA. And I think, at this point, he's, like, stopped answering it, which is, I guess, fair, given this amount of time. But the time that I saw that he answered it, he was basically like, you know, I'm not proud of everything that I've done in my life, but at some point, you either have to, like... I don't know. You have to move on, basically. And that's kind of eye-opening, because it's really easy to say, like, if you've done nothing wrong in your life, you're like, wow, this guy is, like, permanently an asshole for that thing that he did. And what he did does have permanent impact on the person that he did it to. But, I mean, I guess I like to think that I would be noble about it. And, you know, at first I'd be like, fuck that, dude. Why am I being sucked into the middle here? I'd probably be like, fuck that, dude. You know, he blinded me in one eye or something like that. I hope his life is ruined forever. But, you know, after 10, 20 years, if he's done good things with his life, if he's turned that into positive change, then I guess you don't forgive him, but you say, you know, good for you. And I guess you can't hold a grudge forever, or maybe you can, but you gotta You know, it is what it is. It's already happened. I don't know where my opinions on justice lie. I also don't know why I'm talking about it in an episode of The Binding of Isaac. So we have Midas Touch Nodleaf. And I have to be honest, I'm going to reroll it. And the reason I'm going to reroll it is, it's good, but it's just not that good. So I'd rather stick with a run that I'm actually pleased with for longer, and I think that this might be it right here. I know I always say, like, we're going to use D100 once. This time, we're going to use D100 more than once. Maybe twice only, but... You know, I mean, the other thing that's interesting about that, like, Mark Wahlberg anecdote is, first off, how did he get his abs like that? No, I shouldn't be making light of that. It's a serious situation. But it's like, it's easy to say, at what point do you draw the line? You know, I think if somebody went to jail on, like, a drug charge when they're 18, and now they're 40, it's easy to be like, you know, that person deserves a second chance. But what if somebody's convicted of a violent crime, but they've reformed their lives, you know? What's the purpose of a penitentiary? This is a very divisive issue. We'll try a reroll here. We got conjoined. And we got spun, I think, as well. Oh, this is a ticket. I know it's technology for, like, the 18th run in a row. But the damage here is ridiculous. We also got the mom transformation. We've got 2020. We've got Bloody Lust. We've got Rotten Baby, which is pretty solid. This is the run that we're going to stick with here. We got Tiny Planet, obviously. I don't know, and I mean, you should never... That's like the general rule of YouTube, is that you should never bring up, like, controversial subjects. But I've found that the secret of YouTube is, it's totally fine to bring up controversial subjects, as long as you just refrain from taking a stance. And then the people in the comments will argue for you, and that's better. But, you know, again, know your audience. Like, if you're arguing big issues like this in the comments, you're probably not going to get the response you want, but don't let me stop you, you know, if you feel like that's the appropriate avenue. But it's always interesting to see, you know, like in Norway, maximum security prison is like the size of an American dorm room. You get a PS4, you know, you get internet access, and the idea there is it's a different philosophy. We're here to, like, rehabilitate prisoners so they can eventually become productive members of society, and then, you know, go out there and make a difference in a positive way. Like, the maximum prison term is, like, 25 years or something like that. In North America, that sounds, and I think that if you're Scandinavian, you will know this already. In North America, that sounds fucking nuts. We're like, that dude was smoking a joint, throw him in jail for 15 years just to teach him a lesson. Well, I agree that weed should be legal, but he shouldn't have broken the law. Yeah, that, like, we talked about it on the show, and it blew my mind. That, like, in a lot of parts of the US now, marijuana is legal, but there are still people in jail from when marijuana was not legal. And then when we brought it up, I was in my head, I was like, those people must be, like, on the phone with their lawyer every day, right? Going like, hey, can you get me out of jail? The thing that I did is legal now. The consensus, maybe not the consensus, but a lot of people in the chat were like, you know, I agree that, you know, it's legal now, but at the time they broke the law, so I don't think they should get, like, I don't think they should get clemency. It was surprising to me. Not necessarily wrong, and I mean that sincerely. You know, it's a complicated issue, but it felt wrong to me for someone to be in jail for a crime which is now legal. Especially considering how many, like, stupid laws have been repealed over the years, you know? You'd be pretty pissed if you're like, what are you in jail for? I gave someone a blowjob. Dude, it's the 3 strikes law. I'm in for life, motherfucker. You know they repealed that law in, like, 1956 or something. Yeah, but, you know, I've come to agree that breaking the law, as stupid as the law may be, is still not okay. I also rode my horse without a harness between the hours of 1400 and 1600 in the town square on a Sunday. You know that law is from the Civil War era, right? Anyway, we should stop, like, it's video 1 for me of the day. Should really stop getting into controversial issues this early. So, how do you guys feel about abortion? I'm just joking. I would never. Well, I probably would never go down that road. Because I respect my own sanctity. I like not being bothered. And sometimes, like, people will be like, NL, it's cool that you respect other political beliefs. Yeah, that's part of it. The other part of it is that as soon as you talk about your political beliefs, people tweet you. They'll be like, hey man, not cool. And I'm like, hey, just because I believe that humanity should be wiped out by a super virus and replaced by a more advanced species, look, that's just my opinion, okay? I don't actually believe that humanity should be wiped out by a super virus and replaced by a more advanced species. But, like, it might, right? I'm not saying... Do we have marked or something? Like, why are we... Oh, is that kidney stone? I think that is kidney stone causing us to, like, constantly shoot. What's your money on? Everybody's got, you know, money on something. Well, not actual money, but everybody's got, like, their own pet apocalypse, mindset, right? Not mindset, what am I talking about? You know, what do you think is going to eventually destroy humanity? I think like 30 years ago, 20 years ago, you'd be like, no doubt, nuclear war is not, that's the favorite. You know, you put 10 bucks on nuclear war, you get 11 bucks back if it actually happens. It's a safe bet, but we managed to skirt around that, at least for the time being, and it still could happen. Like, it's still on the sports book, you know, betting options. You can still put 100 down, but it's probably not number one anymore. What do you think's gonna wipe out humanity? I'll accept a lot of different answers. You might say nothing. If you say nothing, more power to you. You got a lot of faith in humanity. I have a lot of faith in humanity. Mankind has accomplished some amazing things. We, you know, began on a planet made of shitty-ass rocks, and we've learned how to manipulate those shitty-ass rocks to take us to space and beyond. You know, we've done amazing things with that. A lot of people probably got money on climate change right now. It's possible. What do you think about, you know, antibiotic-resistant super strains of bacteria or viruses? I guess viruses are antibiotic-resistant to begin with, but I digress. I don't know, dude. I feel like we still got a long way to go there. I hope that's not what does it. That'd be pretty messed up. I guess, you know, if I was placing the conservative bet, what is it, like 10 billion years until the sun goes supernova? I'd at least hedge my bets with like 100, put a single bill down on that. And then in 10 billion years, they'd be like, okay, here's 20 bucks. Don't spend it all in one place. By the way, if you're gonna be the person who comments, well, if humanity was destroyed, how would you collect on your bet, Northern Lion? Look, dude, this is, the implication here is obviously that there's some kind of supernatural, you know, Elon Musk style computer simulation betting area that we can go to and, you know, redeem all of our currency that we placed here. It's just a freaking what if, alright? Let's not get pedantic for no reason. Okay, just be smart here. We are a little low on HP, and honestly, this run maybe isn't quite as good as I thought it would be. I doubt we're gonna fight the Hush, but... No, I mean, I doubt we're gonna fight the Hush. Full stop. We don't need that money. We do still have a 2 of diamonds, so, like, we could get value out of fighting the Hush. I don't know. I guess I would be betting on climate change right now. I know it's a controversial issue, but it isn't. But, like, it is, stupidly. That's about as political as I'll get. But I believe, you know, that we'll do our best to either get off this planet or find a way to stop it. I hope. I'm doing my part. I moved to a part of the world in which the temperature is always the same, so I very, very rarely have to use my heater or air conditioner. That's a joke. I know that's not helping that much. I'm doing my part by making videos promoting scientific education, you know? And education, controversially, I believe education is important. I almost re-rolled there as I took a sip of my coffee. I think we have gotten past that point where, like, the D100 was, like, overused. I think this is actually an acceptable situation in which to use it as much as is necessary. But it's not necessary to use it right now. But I kind of like my rule with the D100 is, like, use it until Sad Bombs shows up, dude. Like, this run is certainly not bad. But it also could be better. Do you reroll to make it better? Let's give it a shot. So we got the fungi transformation. Are we charging a shot or something? We got guillotine. What in the world is that? I think that was like a leftover kidney stone charge. Those shots look kind of like they have weight to them, like they're Ipecac shots, but they're actually not. I wish that we had stuck with kidney stone. Let me put it this way. I'm happy with the reroll, very happy with it, in fact, but I wish kidney stone stuck with us, because that first shot there was hilarious. We've got Mr. Mega Bombs now. Sure, I actually, you know, stop taking Tammy's head. I know, but like, look at it. Look at that. That was awesome. I had a great time with that one. Chocolate Milk, Death's Touch, Tammy's head is like a classic combo. It's like getting a wrap with guacamole on it. It took a long time for people to catch on to that being the new hotness, but, you know, now it's here to stay. I know it's controversial. I'm pro guacamole, okay? The first time I ate an avocado, I was like, this avocado has gone wrong. This is just a mummified ball sack with green butter on the inside. But I've grown to love it, okay? When you live on the West Coast, you gotta have respect for the avocado. Adds a nice buttery softness to any culinary item in Julia Child's lexicon. Technology. The shears is a lovely item. You know what? Let's take the shears. I'm not taking technology just because we've had it so often recently. I'll get rid of Tammy's head. I'll placate the Tammy's head haters by taking the shears. I love the shears. It's so good. It's good in the late game. It's good in the early game. It's good always. Wait a minute. I've been calling technology a damage downgrade for like 3 episodes. Only technology 2 is a damage upgrade, isn't it? It's the worst kind of realization, where you're like, ooh, I was an idiot like all day yesterday, and I'm gonna be getting comments about that for like 4 days, even though I just realized my mistake. And that's not your fault. That's my fault, you know? How did I... Oh, I must be immune to explosions. Or not. Maybe I just had an infamy proc or something there. I'm not sure. Because I got hit, but I did not take damage. At least it looked like I got hit. On my screen. Oh, on my screen you didn't hit me. It's exactly like that TPS report scene from Office Space, where, like, you know, 10 bosses come around. You're like, yeah, I fucked up, okay? I forgot to put the cover sheet on the TPS reports. Then 100 people are like, hey, just so you know. And again, they're in the right. I don't want to make you self-conscious about that. I appreciate the feedback. It is only through years and years of feedback and reinforcement that I have gotten to the point where I'm, like, good at Isaac. If I'm even good at Isaac. But sometimes I'm like, ah, come on. Ah, Chewbacca, goddammit. Okay. I have no idea where we're going. But I have Yum Heart, so I cannot be killed. That's a joke. Well, the Eden runs have been ridiculously good so far. You know what I'll say about this one, though? No Eden's Blessing. Where's my Eden's Blessing at? It's not a true Eden run, unless you pay it forward for the next Eden run. Great room to use the shears on, by the way. And it's yet another, like, sub 35-minute run, which is... I mean, I love runs that are fast. I also love specific kinds of runs that are slow. Like, runs in which we really have to grind to get, you know, any kind of leverage at all. But I like fast runs. It feels good. It feels like... Because half of the fun of an Eden run is just seeing what you start with, and then trying to navigate through that. So, the more of those I can fit into an afternoon, selfishly, the happier I am. I think we're just going to save the shears now. It seems like we could be coming in the right direction to, I'm coming in the gym, I'm coming... Been hanging out with Alpaca Patrol too much. Oh, there is an item back there. Yeah, good time to save the shears. Northern Lion, was that a reference to Arnold Schwarzenegger's monologues in Pumping Iron? It is! It is. I've seen Pumping Iron. As far as I'm concerned, Pumping Iron is actually a good film. Like, it's not just a motivational tool. Because, look, I know that, like, being fit is really popular. And it's a net good for society, I think. You know, a fitness craze is a net good for society. Lowers healthcare costs, probably, I'm assuming. But I also think that if you watch Pumping Iron, it's almost like a Fight Club situation, where, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger is like, sometimes I lift until I vomit. And I'm like, people are like, whoa, dude, that's dedication. And I'm like, someone should come in and be like, dude, just take a day off. But you can't take a day off if you want to be Mr. Olympia. And that's why wanting to be Mr. Olympia is crazy. And that's, like, I like the Christopher Guest-ness absurdity of that. That being said, if I could have his body in his prime, would you hold it against me? Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. New Isaac episodes every day at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. For now, thanks for watching. Of course, appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, click the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more Isaac. You know that at this point. But I'll see you next time.